A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars Bounty Hunter. My name is Matt, aka Road Jedi 88. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and let's continue. May the Force be with us. My apologies for the stall out in getting this next one out. Was hoping to be able to get this done under a new approach of my editing softwares. But I'm still trying to figure that out, so I'm just gonna go ahead and push this one out. This is gonna be Chapter 3, the Asteroid Prison, Level Breakout. The Breakout. Uvo 4's lower levels contain the most feared convicts. Special riot guards are deployed in force to quell any attempt at uprising. No revolt has ever succeeded, and with a handful of notable exceptions, all of whom were either killed or returned, no prisoner has ever escaped. Right off the bat, we have our first bounty right in front of us. Convenient. Nice of him to show himself so quickly. He is wanted dead for 2,000 credits. Pease Bunko. He is a male grand supremacist. Well, that's great to know. Uvo 4, last known location, already in prison. Leader of the inmate grand supremacy group. So he's up there. Freedom for the originator, freedom for the incarcerated. He's already incarcerated, but okay. I guess we're taking him somewhere else. I guess he was meant to be transferred. They must be holding him here. We did run into a bunch of officers that were in on some deals. I wonder if he might have something to do with it. And I'm referring to the last level. But anyways, go ahead and tag him, then kill him. Obviously, someone wanted him dead. They didn't want him just alive in prison. They wanted him dead in prison. That's what happens when you piss off the wrong gangs. And we got to take out... We got like a full-scale riot going on here. Mainly, though, you really want the officer down because we got to get into the pod room. As I mentioned in the last video, the last time I worked before I retired out of my service work was actually working as a corrections officer in the state of Texas. For Texas Department of Criminal Justice. So, kind of elements of this is kind of speaking out of experience. Elements of this is way not American, because they would not be running around in a prison inside the prison facility with actual firearms. But we got to get up into the pod room, and generally in American prison policies, they're not supposed to open the pod room at all, ever. But these guys are stupid enough to freak out and let us in. So we got to get in the pod room. In order to do that, you got to kill all the officers that were out in the wing, the prison wing. in order for them to unlock the doors, you can get up here. We need to hit that switch. Now, eventually some guys are going to come out that door, and I was going to shoot them up with that turret, but I kind of had a squad of guys coming at me. So I kind of had to deal with them. Lost my chance to get to shoot the officers that were going to come through that wing door. They're already in the wing. That type of door didn't seem like a sally port doorway, but this is Star Wars. So, And we got to get back out into the main wing. There's a couple guys coming up that ramp. I kind of want the back end with them. Funnel them out towards me. Take them out this way. And I honestly did not believe that was all of them. Kind of feel like there's another one hung up there, but he's the least of my concerns, so I want to get out of here. Work my way through this path. There's a turret. Take that out. And now we're in another little sally port section here. Going into the next room, I guess it's like a central control center, something of that nature. It must be a pretty big facility. They gotta have more than one. But we got another bounty right here. This man is Sandecker. He's wanted dead for 2,000 credits. He clearly pissed someone off. Species, human, sex, male. Known affiliates, the Helmet Squad. Last known location, Uvo 4, obviously. Brief, extortionist, crooked corrections officer. He's not the first. Fry him. So, do as I said. Fry him. Mark him, and then fry him. I mean, I guess I could have gone to my blowtorch and fried him that way. Yeah. But now we got a whole control room or whatever this is, full of officers just coming at us. I'm guessing this is how they monitor the inmates trafficking. It would be my guess, if they're trafficking between wings or something throughout the facility. Not every facility has a situation like this, but I know like our local county does. It's not as decked out as this, but we just gotta take out these guys. We're waiting on a door up on the second floor, up on the second row, to open up. Until then, just gotta hold your ground. That was a hard fall. Yeah, this place is gonna have a serious DOJ visit. I mentioned that in the last video. Aww, clothesline me like that. Alright, well, I gotta go back. And they think their job is done. Even if I was initially dead, they still got a full scale riot they gotta shut down. That's always fun. The unit I worked at was nicknamed the riot unit. We called it the Slapahoe tribe. Gonna work our way up the path once you find the door that unlocks for us. Now, watch your six before going forward, or watch your back, rather, because like for example, I left a bunch of guys hanging behind. So I just scattered them with my rocket. And this guy just crapped his pants. And we gotta go into the next Sally Port section. And take out these guys. I gotta say, these are awfully big Sally Ports. I don't think I've ever seen Sally Ports this big, but generally they're small. But, well, it's probably more of a kind of an opening section to the Sally Ports. But, anyways, moving on. And here it looks like we've entered a day room. And we have a bounty down below. He is a weak-way species male. His name is Kizo Stooley. He is worth 3,500 credits alive or 1,200 credits dead. So you can keep him dead or alive, doesn't really matter. You make credits out of the way, but he's worth more alive. His affiliates are unknown. Last known location, Uvo 4. Brief part of a gang of hoodlums who wreaked havoc on our Millennium celebration. Originator Governor Kuchel. Can't really see without lighting there, but apparently a governor wants him down. So we're gonna tag him, and I'm gonna preferably take him alive. And I'm gonna let him work his way up to the second row of the day room. I'll come across here, tag him, bag him, and there's a little trick. Now, I don't have the best of angle with everyone here, but if you go back through this door with it open, they stop moving. Take note, they stop moving. So from here, I can just kind of shoot out whoever I'm able to see from here. And then if I need them to move again, maybe work their way up to the second row, just step a little further into the room and get them active again, and then step back into the doorway just to freeze them again. There's something about that door there. They just suddenly aren't concerned about you. I guess they just simply don't want you in their day room. I'm gonna use a rocket to scatter these guys. Bye. That's how you break up a riot. That's a step up from tear gas. Anyways, it's gonna really, you definitely want to kill off everyone that's gonna show up in this room, and of course the correction officer is gonna show up as well. Before we go to the next section, even though the door that the correction officers are coming out of, we want that direction, we don't need these guys rear-ending us. So we're just going to clear out this whole day room to make sure that no one tails us from behind while we're moving forward. I don't know how he automatically targeted to the guy through the floor on the second row. I was trying to target with the guy right in front of me. I don't know how he locked on target to a guy through the second row. That was weird. That guy fell through a gap and went absolutely nowhere. And it really sucks. These guys are using automatic machine guns on us, and we don't get to grab it off of them. Like, I ran this maybe 3 times hoping one of the rounds they would drop me one. Never did. Would have been nice to have that chain gun, all this waves of riots we got going on. But anyways, we're gonna go through the door to the left of, from where we entered the day room. We want the door on the bottom row to the left. So moving through the sally port and out into this cave walkway. The first officer walked himself to his own suicide. There was a turret up there. There's another turret and a few more officers down around the corner. I'll take them all out. And we're gonna go into this next room. This one definitely reminds me of a high security wing. Where, for example, in the state of Texas, we might hold G5 offenders. That level. That's this is the kind of wing this reminds me of. Having a turret gun in the middle of the wing is a bit of an excessive use of force, but whatever. So we had a bounty there. Just in case you missed it, his name is Grelosk. He is wanted dead for 1,500 credits. He's a Trandoshan male arms dealer smuggler. Last known location, Uvo 4. Brief, inmate serving life for high crimes against the Republic must die for committing more personal crimes. Anonymous. Sounds like someone's got a personal vendetta. So, I'm just kind of chilling out here for a second and let some of these guys come out to me. And I probably should have stayed around the corner. Alright, that's alright. I'm just right around the corner from them. Still. Careful, make the flank. And watch out not to fall off the ledge. Boy, this is a dangerous prison facility. Makes me wonder how many inmates have died. Fallen. Anyway, we're gonna come along here and kill them all out. Still gotta make our way to Grelosk when you kill his Trandoshan butt. To be fair, on behalf of all the Wookiees they like to sport, he's probably got it coming. Fair game. And 3 rockets to replace the ones I've used. I'm gonna work my way up the ladder with my jetpack. And I got another down the second row. We gotta make our way up to the 3rd row. But we don't need this pot shotter on the 2nd row sneaking shots at us while we're up on the 3rd row. We got this guy with the turret. I'm gonna take advantage of the angle that he can't get me at and kill him. And hug along this side here for a little bit of cover. We need to work out, we have another bounty right here. His name is Onja Rambolt. He is worth 3,000 credits alive, 1,500 credits dead. So dead or alive, he's worth credits, but he's worth more alive. Species, Gran, sex, male. Known affiliates, unknown. Last known location, Uvo 4. Brief, believes he can escape his outstanding debts by plea bargaining for a life sentence in prison. Prove him wrong. Originator, intergalactic banking clan. Alright, so the banking clan. If you go to, say for example, the Wikipedia fandom, they do explain that they are, well, they're kind of like associated with, you know, the banking situation of the Star Wars galaxy. They were part of what Palpatine utilized to fund both the Republic side of the Clone Wars as well as the Separatist Clone Wars without either side knowing this. Well, I guess technically Count Dooku would have known, but the Republic didn't really know, not until near the end of the Clone Wars TV series. The various locations are Coruscant, Siblok's transfer station, Munalinst, Megito, Vandor. It is a lot to look at in the Star Wars Galaxy Star Chart, but you can find this online. One of the places it mentioned, Coruscant, which is just right there. You can probably kind of study the Star Chart and figure out where all these planets are, as I pointed out in the first couple videos of the Bounty Hunter Wars, or I mean the Bounty Hunter game here. But if you're one of those people that's kind of curious about even the fictitious aspect of their locations, where they're from, this is one source you can go to. But as I mentioned, they were seen throughout the Clone Wars. They also make an appearance in Attack of the Clones, in a meeting with Count Dooku on Geonosis, the banking clan leader. As he was telling Count Dooku that they would join with the funding of the Separatist army. But of course, like I said, when you get into the Clone Wars TV series, you basically gotta come to realize just how much money laundering Palpatine was doing with these guys. Pretty much near the end, just right about as he was ready to dissolve both the Republic Senate as well as the Separatists and finally get his empire. These are basically the people he got them financing from to even have the empire at all. So this guy is involved with them somehow, or he believes he can escape the debts from those guys. Those guys, the banking clan, they basically run the finance for the entire Star Wars galaxy, basically. And this guy is a damn fool to think he can escape them. I'm just like trying to run from the IRS. So they want him mostly for alive. They'll take him dead, but they prefer him alive. I guess they're gonna beat the money out of him, or work the money out of him. Probably make a slave out of him until he pays off his debt. That's probably what will happen. I'm gonna run through, take out these guys. And grab the gold token feather. In the high security prison cell at the far back end of the third row. But now we need to make our way back to where that turret is at, so we can go through that doorway there. I'm gonna come up in here. I was kind of doing a double check for health. Really, all the cells on the second row seem to be shut off or closed. So we're gonna make our way up into this next section. And we gotta get across this cavern. That guy in the last level, he mentioned that they're doing mining in these caves, or down in the pits in the cavern area. This is probably the opening gaps to that. I was trying to use a toxic dart on that guy, but these guys decided to play dirty. Like I said, excessive use of force. Two can play that game. Bye. Feel the sunburn on that one. Alright. I'm gonna place my rocket out of waste. And we're gonna come down this hall. So much for trying to top off my health in that last wing. come down this hall, take out these guys. And we have our checkpoint at the end of this hall here. We want to make our way to it. If you need health, that's health. Some weaponry. So entering into this next area, and I'm guessing it's just a trafficking hall. I don't see any cells. Anyways, we got a bounty straight up ahead by the name of Mavic Trumka. He is worth 2,000 credits dead. He's a Cardassa Nicto species. I'm familiar with that species specifically, but that is definitely something I'm sure Fandom Wikipedia could fill us in on. They're humanoid. They almost have a bit of a weak way appearance to them, which we just picked up a weak way earlier. Point of origin is Kintan. I don't know. That doesn't really help much. But as I pointed out, the Star Wars Galaxy star chart is one source of finding that out. Now I know so far in this, in the course of the Bounty Hunter game, I hadn't introduced the weak ways. We did pick up, I think, our first one in this level. The weak ways, which is what Captain Hondo is. They are hoping to give us a okay. Point of origin is Threlur is the planet that they come from. So, if you were to look at the overall aspect of the star chart, wherever Clantooine was, I want to say that was a bit of a distance from Tatooine. It wasn't anywhere near wherever Tatooine is. So, it's in a totally different region of space. But if you were to look at the Star Wars star chart, wherever if you can find Clantooine, it should be within that region. But yeah. But this Cardassa Nicto is a male species, unknown affiliates. Last known location, Uvo 4. Ratted out his partners, deserves to die a terrible death. Let's find out it was Hondo he ratted out. Originator, Outland Police Force. So, must not have been Hondo necessarily. If it's the police force wanting him dead. He must have narked on the corrupt officers. Of course, I don't know why they don't just kill him. So I'm going to use the toxic dart across the way and go ahead and take him out. That way he's one less, at least that way I know he's dead and not going to fall down some gap or something. Which I don't think there's any gaps in here, so I could just let him come to me and kill him that way, but at least now I know he's not mobilizing anywhere. And we got to clear out this whole room. It doesn't look like it'll be any major importance. That's why I'm saying it might be just simply kind of a trafficking hall in between cell blocks or other functions of the prison. It could just simply be that. The corridor. Because it looks like there's multiple doors along the side, so it could be like kind of a cell block hall, like a hallway to multiple cell blocks. Or other aspects of the prison. And, to be fair, considering all the guys I did that too, I had that coming. But we're going to go back, I'm going to go back right in. It's not like they pushed me too far back. I'm going to finish off the rest of you guys. It would be nice if one of these corrections officers would die off from offering me their automatic weapons that are blasting at me. kind of take advantage of some of these little dead end spots for cover. Might take a minute. I mean, I could probably easily just go fly over and snag his body, but kind of just want to cautiously work my way towards him. It's not like he's going anywhere. Unless he somehow gets some real bad rigor mortis vibrating him away from me. But we're gonna grab him, and right down below where he was dead at, we're gonna go down this doorway to the left, and there is a turret down this hall, or this cave. We're gonna work our way to our next checkpoint. There's health, full health right here if you need it, and we're gonna go into the next little sally port spot right here for the next room. And in this next section, it's kind of another corridor area with a bunch of holding cells. A lot of times throughout the prison facilities, they'll have holding cells, whether it's with the workplace or the commanding officer's line building, stuff like that. Here we have another bounty. It's another weequay, Braun Donkey. He is worthless alive, worth more dead, 2,000 credits. Male, UVO 4 with no known affiliates. Must die for assisting in the kidnapping of one of the dignitaries. Nice. Techno Union. Alright, so here's another one. So, the Techno Union, which is foreman led by Wat Tambor, kind of alongside with some of the Trade Federation type people. They were part of the Separatists. Trying to find their known locations. They have a lot of known locations: Coruscant, Geonosis, Hypori, Ipsidon, Mustafar, Nelvan, Ryloth, Metalorn, Foundry, Mechas 3, Utapau, and Skako. Skako might actually be kind of their primary origin spot. That are Mechas 3. It definitely looks as though they've had an opportunity to spread pretty far and wide throughout the galaxy. But again, this is Wat Tambor. You see him first in Attack of the Clones with Count Dooku, along with that banking clan member, talking about their contribution to the trade or to the Separatists. The Techno Union designed the mechanics or the computer programming for the, like, say, the battle droids, and just a lot of they're basically just like computer tech savvy type people in the galaxy. We can put it that way. They're probably like the Microsoft or the Apple to the Star Wars galaxy kinds of people, but you know, programming into the battle droids that were being used. Once again, we see them later on in actually we see them in the Clone Wars TV series, especially kind of near the end when Palpatine's getting ready to shut down the battle droid operations, not needing their tech services anymore, and actually kind of some of their tech services went into the Death Star even, actually. But we see them here on the planet Utapau in Revenge of the Sith before they were sent to Mustafar, which is where Anakin slaughtered Wat Tambor right here. And the banking clan guy that we were talking about earlier. This is basically when they finally get shut down. I mean, everything of the leaders of the Separatists. Darth Vader was sent to annihilate, basically. So I can't help but to notice a lot of the originators that we're getting bounty missions from are coming from the direction that eventually would later, because this is over 10 years before. This is like just not quite 10 years, but just a slight. I mean, this is just slightly before Django signed his contract with the Kaminoans to be cloned. So we're talking maybe slightly over 10 years before the events of Phantom Menace. We're getting a lot of interactions, bounty setups, or bounty requests from the very people that would eventually become separatists in the Clone Wars. It's almost like it, and I don't know if they're tied in, if these bounties are somehow linked in with the order from Palpatine to be taken out, or was it specifically from those various different factions, just individually themselves. But we're getting a lot of bounty requests from separatists, what would be later become separatist members. It's just kind of something I'm noticing here. And the weak ways, they don't exactly go one way or the other during the Clone Wars. They don't really choose either the Republic, the Senate, or the separatists. They kind of keep themselves neutral during the Clone Wars. But this guy is wanted dead, so we're going to mark him. And if we get an opportunity to kill him, we will. I mean, you could probably shoot a toxic dart, but we got a lot of bullets flying at us already. So I'm just going to kind of use these doors as kind of a slight cover spot for the moment. Let these guys feed their way to me. And I got lucky. He actually gave himself to me. So, but we got to work our way around. There's also another bounty. We have another wanted bounty here. We got to keep our eyes open. Now, the majority of our bounties have been worth more dead than alive. So our bounty count at the end of the level scoring, it might look weak, but it should show that we're capturing all our bounties. That we are getting all of our bounties. We're just not capturing all of them, because only one of them has even been, or two of them have been wanted alive. The rest have all been wanted dead. So just kind of bear that in mind. Well, this Trandoshan was stupid. Clearly he didn't hear the saying, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Man, he came up at me with just claws. Everyone else has got a stick or a pistol on them. Hey, looky here, I got the high ground. Because the ramps that were visually noticeable around us were not an option for him, apparently. Neither was climbing up. And nice shot from the turret. I was hoping I could get his feet. This actually took me 2 different attempts. This is my second attempt at this. I kind of glazed over the attempt between that last one and this one. I tried launching a rocket at him, and my rocket completely missed. So I tried doing a toxic dart, and I'm making use of like a very small little gap space here, but not the best of aim here. I don't doubt it's possible. It's just you gotta get that right targeting there. And it doesn't help, but I got other guys coming around at me. Like I said, there's a second bounty around here, so I'm trying to keep my eyes open for them. But I'm thinking he's primarily just at the very end of this whole corridor area, or this hall area. But holding cells throughout the prison facilities, like in other sections that's not cell block related, isn't unheard of. I mean, this is generally how they keep kind of keep the inmates stationed in between transferring around or trafficking through the place. Or if they're waiting on a chain bus or need to meet with a ranking officer for something in the line building or going to work. This is kind of how we keep things stationary there. But, alright, so here's our next bounty. Alright, his name is Tosk. He is worth 2,000 credits dead, Trandoshan, male, known affiliates, Jabba the Hutt. Last known location, Uvo 4. Brief, like many of his kind, this scourge goes by the name Tosk, and he will remember my name when he begs you for his life. Originated Gardula the Hutt. Okay. I might be wrong on this. I'm trying to remember the specific details. I gotta reread this because it's been a while. But if I'm not mistaken, in episode 1, Journal Anakin Skywalker, he does. It seems like he makes reference about Gardula the Hutt. I'm trying to remember if that was actually who his mom lost the betting that got them enslaved. I could be wrong on that. But if you go back to the Phantom Menace, up in the in Jabba's VIP box or his viewing box for the pod race, that second hut next to Jabba is believed to be Gardula the Hutt. I don't know a whole lot about Gardula, but I kind of get the sense once in a while in the Hutt, within the Hutt clans, there are some occasional rivals amongst them. I do feel like, especially with what we're looking at about this bounty, and I could be entirely wrong, but this does feel almost like kind of an act out of the elements of a rival that could be in place. I could be entirely wrong on that, but I wouldn't rule it out. But it is kind of interesting to see Gardula up in that viewing box with Jabba in the pod race. If this was slightly before that, so that's what I'm bearing that in mind. So there's not a whole lot that I'm familiar with about Gardula the Hutt, but that name does come up a few times. But it's very vague whenever I have come across it. So, but we're gonna mark him. We're gonna mark this Trandoshan. I'm gonna go ahead and kill him. That way he's not moving around. And I'm gonna work my way to him. Work our way down, and I'm kind of checking these holding cells in case there's like any health in them, but there literally was nothing in any of them. We got a couple guys, a couple little jokesters coming out of that next section we gotta go forward in. But like I said, I was double checking on these holding cells because I didn't really take a whole lot of time to check them all out in case there was anything valuable in them. Absolutely nothing, not even an inmate. It's almost like they just opened the cells and let them have at it with us. So, I don't even know what the point of the prison facility is when the inmates and the officers are in cahoots with each other. So, quick correction. I'm cutting the video just right here, real quick. I was in my original recording. I was looking around and I did not find anything. If anyone has probably spotted, this clearly has been played multiple times throughout the course of the day. As I mentioned, or I'll mention later, it took me like literally all day to get through. Having a sufficient recording to put up on YouTube. But right next to the two turrets, there is this chain gun inside there, and I found it my last run through. Not in. I did not. I missed it in the run through that I'm gonna send y'all back to here in a second of my original run through of that session. But whenever I made a on my last run through, my final run through for the game, because I missed something, I had to re-catch it. I also caught this too. So it is it's on the second row, right next to the turrets. As you enter that hall from the starting point, and you turn the corner, when you first see the turrets, it's to the right of the first turret. Just look over there, and you'll find this. But anyways, moving forward. Moving into this next area, we got a checkpoint, and now we have a series of 3 bridge situation to deal with. A little bit of a scene gap there, but I basically just went out the door, shot up the guys on this first bridge. Careful with that second bridge, because there is a bounty over there. So grab this durable jetpack. It does have a timer on it, but we can still get across even without it. I'm looking for the officer bounty. Oh, where are you? There he is. Sitting there with the rocket launcher. I was trying to move quick on tagging him before he blasted me, but Zeb Madan is worth 2,000 credits. Dead, human, male, Republic Correctional Officer Union. Uvo 4, a former security guard who stole large cash holdings from some of our less respectable, something equally important customers. Intergalactic Bank Clan. Once again, the banking clan has got an issue with some people here. So we're going to take him out. Make our way across, snag him. Of course, when you kill him, make sure he doesn't fall off the bridge, because then otherwise you lose your bounty. And now we gotta deal with the guys with the last 2 bridges. We gotta get over to that 3rd bridge. Watch out for the guys with the rocket launchers. But we need to get over to that 3rd bridge. Yes, I know I lost that little jetpack booster, but you don't really need it to get across. Hard lesson to be learned coming up here. I seriously thought here in a second, I seriously thought I had room to blast my rocket from here. And as you saw, I just did a second ago, but I'm about to have an incident where I thought I had the room for it. And gauged wrong. That rocket launcher does come in handy, assuming you don't suicide with it. See? You need to make sure there's nothing directly above you. I guess I thought it would kind of shoot forward, but nah, I mean, it's, in retrospect, yeah, the rocket's got to launch upwards before it can even go anywhere. I just was not thinking of it. But at the same time, I also thought there was a little bit of room there too, but I guess not enough. Yeah, sorry about the sound quality. I had to run this in my own old traditional form. 30-second increments off the switch and over to my hardware devices, and then just mesh them together that way, and it screws the sound quality a bit. This is actually, ironically, better than this editing software I've been trying to work with. I mean, I'm getting some progress with them, but I keep finding myself in circles trying to fix one problem after another. I had a slight scene jump there, but I'll get to that. And it's me screwing around now that I have a little free time on my hands and no one trying to kick my butt. Well, to come up into this cabin area, they kind of gave us an easy exit way out for a facility that had intense security going in. You would think this the inmates would know of this and take advantage of this as an easy slip out opportunity. Hey, look at who we have here. It's a familiar face from the first chapter. Miko Genti, worth 10,000 credits, dead. Wow, he's going places in the world. He's a Mutani, male, ex-convicts, pit fighters, Boric breeders, Uvo 4, captured by a bounty hunter and returned to Uvo 4, where he will die for stealing something Boric. Experienced Boric, something like that. I tagged him before I got to read it, but angry Boric owner. Wow, sounds like we had something to do with that. Anyways, they want him dead. And you know, in that first chapter, he was making all kinds of threats. Let's see how good he is at following through those threats with a rocket up his butt. Not our bounty. So we've been paid twice for that guy. And we're gonna ride the lift up. There are some turrets along the way. So if you notice any pot shots, yeah, it's because of the sentry guns. But assuming you've got good health, you basically just ride right past them. And once again, this is me just screwing around with some free moments on my hands. Well, they put that thing on the wrong side. And we're moving forward. About to meet with a familiar face. But we now have all 10 of our bounties. We're just now at the end of our chapter. Gotta get to our ship. So approaching our ship here, we got a number of guys we got to address, get them away, help Zam Wessel out. Zam Wessel is seen in Attack of the Clones. She was assisting Jango Fett in trying to assassinate Padme Amidala. She is a changeling. And most of George Lucas in the shows as well as Clone Wars, they never actually give a name drop about that species name. However, real quick after I kill these two, and I'll make it brief. In the book series Star Wars Galaxy of Fear, which is kind of a Star Wars version of the 1990s Goosebumps, Galaxy of Fear, which is actually a book series that, after what Disney did with Skeleton Crew, if they wanted to do something more in that direction, maybe even more Halloween direction, Galaxy of Fear is a horror thriller. It is something Disney could take into consideration. It was kind of a childhood favorite of mine. A number of us were kind of big on the Goosebumps type stuff, and those of us who were Star Wars fans kind of liked the Star Wars version of it. But one of the lead characters in this book series is a changeling, and they give him the name, the species name, Shai-Ido, as they refer to him. So, we got a couple more guys on the other side of our ship here. Rockets definitely help. I guess they thought they were going to impound our ship or something. I got that one correction officer that's just getting smart behind the rock there. Every time he pokes his head out, I'm trying to take that opportunity to get a pot shot on him so he doesn't go hiding behind it again. We got one more guy. And welcome to Slave One. This is the story how he ends up with it. This is also the introductory story behind how Jango and Zam Wessel get a partnership between each other. But that was Chapter 3, the Asteroid Prison, the breakout level. Literally took me all day to run through this to get everything fine-tuned. And that is all 10 bounties, although 2 we only captured. The other 8 we had to kill as part of the capture, or part of the, the bounty claims. So, total earnings is 30,000 Republic credits. and we found the gold feather token. That's 100% completion for the Asteroid Prison, the Breakout. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions, suggestions down below, and thank you for following. May the Force be with you.